All right, welcome back to session 4 of the quadratics course, CSET quadratics course. So you all would have seen 3 other videos so far building up to this topic that we are doing. So in the last session, we would have learned how to factorize some basic expressions. And in this session, it shouldn't be as long as the other sessions, maybe. Um, but I just want to do many examples of factorization and show you all different ways in which factorization could come. All right, so let's go again with factorization. So you just want to factorize, and this section will just be about um, random values of factorization, right? So let's say that we are asked to factorize 1. All right, so let's go with 5p minus 2p squared. Good. Now, I gave you all a little tip in the last one where I told you all we don't factorize the larger of the two variables, the larger of the two powers on the variables. So whichever power is the smaller one, that's the amount that we factorize. So between 5 and 2, they are not common factors other than 1, right? So we don't need to factor out 1 right now, but all we could factor out is p. P is the only term that could divide both of these terms here. So 5p divided by p becomes 5, and 2p squared divided by p becomes minus 2p. Good, and that's it. Now, I left these like this last time, but remember in CSEC maths, you don't need to write that multiplication. You can put it back as 5 minus 2p, but it really doesn't matter. If you leave it like this, that's perfectly fine. Right, let's go again. Let's go with 8m squared minus um, 16m to the power of 4. Now again, you think about first the numbers, the base numbers. What could divide both 8 and 16? 8 could divide both 8 and 16. Right, now go again. M squared and m to the power of 4. M squared could divide both of these terms. So we go with m squared outside here as well. So now 8m squared multiplied by what will give us back this. So we divide. 8m squared divided by 8m squared. Anything divided by itself is 1. So let me write that to the side. 8m squared divided by 8m squared. 8 divided by 8 is 1. M squared divided by m squared is also 1. So anything divided by itself is 1. So that's how we get 1 here. And now 16 divided by 8 is 2. And m to the power of 4 divided by m to the power of 2. Now, this is something that you all supposed to know from before. But again, if you are unsure how I get this here, m to the 4 minus 2 is equal to m squared, comment and let me know. So I can always guide you all to another video which would assist you all with the division um, of bases when you have powers. So division of similar bases. So m to the 4 divided by m squared is just m squared. Good. So we get this here. And that's it. Now you don't need to write the multiplication sign. You can leave that out and it becomes 8m squared into 1 minus 2m squared. Now, this could actually be factorized a little bit more, but we're not going into that right now. So 8m squared by 1 is 8m squared. 8m squared by 2m squared will give you 16m to the power of 4. So you know that your answer is correct. And let's go with number 3. Um, let's go with 6x to the power of 5 minus 30x cubed. So again, we think it through. What base number could divide both 6 and 30? 6 could divide itself. 30 could be divided by 6. And now you go with the variables. The smaller of the two variables, well, this variable, the smaller of the two powers could divide the other one. So x cubed is a smaller power. So 6 divided by 6 is 1. X fifth divided by x cubed is x squared minus 30 divided by 6 is 5. X cubed divided by x cubed is 1. But you don't need to write that 5 because 5 by 1 is 5. And that's the answer there. 1x squared minus 5. You also don't need this one here, but if you put it, it's fine. Right, number 4. Now be very careful with negatives. Let's go with negative 8, negative 2 e to the power of 5 minus 4e to the power of 7. 4e to the power of 6. Alright, so let's see what we'll get here. If I want to factorize my negative, right, you could do that. So let's say we are taking out negative 2 and the smaller power is a to the 5th, so negative 2a to the 5th. Good. Negative 2a to the 5th divided by negative 2a to the 5th, right, divided by itself. Anything divided by itself is 1. It don't matter what it is. Once it's the same term dividing by itself, you will get 1. So this answer here is 1. And now you have to be very careful. Negative 4 divided by negative 2 is positive 2. And a to the 6th divided by a to the 5th becomes a to the 6 minus 5, which is a to the power of 1, or just a as your answer there. Right, to be very, very careful when you are factorizing negatives, right? And it is crucial. You will see how important it is when we get into the realm of quadratics. Right, number 5. Let's go with negative 3p to the power of 7 plus 2p to the power of 3. So if we want to withdraw the negative, so let's say we take out negative. Now, between these two, the only term that can be factorized is p, because the 3 and the 2, they don't have a common factor other than 1. So, between these two, I can take out the smaller of the two powers, which is p. Negative 3p to the 7 divided by negative p to the power of 3, and negative divided by negative is a positive 3p to the power of 4. Now, how did we get this? I'm going to put it on the side here. Negative 3p to the power of 7 divided by negative p to the power of 3. The negative divided by a negative becomes a positive. P to the 7 divided by p to the 3, so this is still 3 here, becomes p to the power of 7 minus 3. Upper power take away lower power, which will give us 3p to the power of 4, which is what we have here. And now, positive 2 divided by negative 1 will give us negative 2. P to the power of 3 divided by itself is just 1, and that's the answer there. Yeah? So, these questions you have to be very, very careful when you are answering them with respect to your negatives. Right? Let me do just a couple more again. As I said, this video wouldn't be as long as the others. Right? Let's go with negative 5m squared minus 10m to the power of 6. So, let's switch around the powers. Negative 5 here, and put this here. So, you factor out the negative, and 5 could divide both 5 and 10 to negative 5, and then you take out the variable with the smaller power, m squared. So, you think it through very carefully, take your time. If you want to write it in the working column, you could. Each term divided by the term that you are factoring out. So, minus 5m to the 6 divided by negative 5m squared. So negative 5 divided by negative 5 is positive 1. M to the 6 divided by m to the power of 2 is m to the power of 4. So this becomes 1m to the power of 4. Now, negative 10 divided by negative 5 is positive 2. M squared divided by m squared, anything divided by itself is 1. So 2 by 1 will just give us 2. And that's the answer there. Yeah? So this is how we do the factorization of these. Now, I will send you all a worksheet to do this. Again, as with all the other videos, you will get worksheets under the video. I'm not sure if I put it in the comment section yet, or if it will be just in the description. So feel free to check that um for your worksheets. Now, I know that there are some more, other little bit more challenging questions in this realm, and I will make a video with more challenging questions later on. I just want to give you all the basics that will get us into quadratics. So, the next class that we are going into is going to be factorizing by grouping, which is a little bit more challenging than this. But as with everything else, we'll take our time and get through with it. So if you have any questions, feel free to post it in the comments and I will try to assist you as best I could. Right, so good luck with the worksheet and I will see you all in the next video. Until then, stay safe.